Hello and welcome to Cracking the Cryptic. For a follow-up to what I found one of the stranger puzzles that I've done before, which was by Sudoku fan 87, who is Australian. Well, he says it's high from Australia where it's getting cold. I'm guessing I don't know that actually. As it's freezing in Melbourne, Australia, hopefully this sequel to Rika's Endless Summer will put us in the summer mood. It's another Nurikabe Sudoku similar to Rika's Endless Summer, but with a special island and some islands where the solver must deduce the total. And he's requested that it be solved on June the 8th, hence June the 9th, his time. Now, I'm seeing 6/9/20 or 9/6/25 as the date, and that therefore is why we're using 9, 6 and 25 in the puzzle. I don't know exactly what the J-pop reference is, but what it says is, after nearly 7 years as a member of the J-pop group Beyonds, it is time for Rika Shimakura to leave Japan and head overseas to Treasury Island. That's a loose translation of Shimakura, for an endless summer. Nobody but Rika knows where Treasury Island is, but it's somewhere in this grid. Can you find it? So that is the background. I know nothing about J-pop, about Beyonds, or about Rika, but probably some of you do. Wonderful. We at least get a Sudoku puzzle out of it, and that's what I'm going to be attempting today. And hi to Sudoku fan 87, who's obviously got the 5 O's in his name because of the Beyonds. Example, I've finished talking about stuff about which I know nothing. I'm going to talk about things about which I do know, like our Sudoku worms, which are now available in the CTC apps on Google Play and App Store, iOS or Android, obviously. And if you download the CTC app, you can access the worms, pay $1 each for worms by Marty Sears or James Sinclair. Great names, and do give them a try. There will be others released in due course, some other great Sudoku names still to come. Very pleased with that. Of course, on that same app, you could get our Fog of War Sudoku app, or on that app, or in the earlier versions, you could get the other apps that we've released. They're jolly good fun. Also on Patreon, we've got the Yin Yang Journey Hunt. We have previously had a Nurikabe hunt by Blobs. So if you get very excited by the Nurikabe aspects of this puzzle, that might be where to go for more. And also on that Patreon, we have many other things like connections videos, crossword videos, and anything else we think of to tempt you, basically. What else have we got? We've been streaming the blueprints lately. We'll probably do more of that soon. There's some fairly special collaboration videos lately. Also, of course, Sven Sudoku Pad and our merch are on the links under the video, and we urge you to have a go at them. But this is what I'm going to have a go at, is this puzzle, and I'm going to read the rules. So, they're quite complicated, so follow me. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That's 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. All cells are either island or water, and each purple cell is an island cell. Each island must contain exactly 1 purple cell. Different islands may not touch orthogonally. The water cells are orthogonally connected and may not contain any 2x2 areas of water. So far, so Nurikabe. Each island also contains a set of non-repeating digits that sums to the purple cell total if given. If no total is given, the sum is 6, 9, or 25. Those are clearly the theme numbers for this puzzle. The number in the purple cell is the number of cells in the island. So the digit in the purple cell is how many cells there are in the island. Totals are not necessarily in the top leftmost cell of an island. All islands are normal except one, Treasury Island, which has no given total. So we can forget the 6, 9 or 25 rule for Treasury Island. On this island, X's mark the spot, which means that Treasury Island can be evenly divided into non-overlapping dominoes, 2 cells each, that sum to 10. The purple cell's digit in Treasury Island is inconsequential, and digits may repeat. So Treasury Island is just not obeying the rules. It's not one of the islands with the given totals. It's one of the other ones. One of these 5 is in Treasury Island, and only one of them. And Treasury Island is made up of any number of cells, but it contains dominoes that add up to 10. And it can have repeats, unlike the other cages. That is really a lot of boundary breaking by Treasury Island. I like the name, by the way. I'm presuming that Shimakura, was it, translates to sort of Treasure Island. But anyway, let us have a go. I'm sure Rika's rolling in the sweet, sweet treasury from the J-pop group. Anyway, let's restart the puzzle. I don't know how this is going to go. You can check the video length, some of which will be down to me not understanding anything. Okay, what I do understand is that these purple cells are islands, and they're in different islands, and they have to be separated by water. So I'm going to use the light blue for water. I hope you can see it. I know that for some it's not easy to see, but it's a slightly richer shade of light blue than in the past. Anyway, we must divide islands that we've been told are different. So then we have to have the water getting out of some of those places, because all the water will be contiguous overall. So that water keeps getting out of this area. Now, okay, let's think about the islands where we are given totals. They're not Treasury Islands, so they obey the normal rules. They've got a set of non-repeating digits adding up to the number, and the number in the dotted cell is the number of cells in the island. So in this 6 island, that 6 cell cannot contain a 1. And this island, therefore, every island, yeah, including Treasury Island, because that's made up of dominoes. Every island in the puzzle has at least 2 cells in it. So I can extend the 6 island and the 9 island by 1 cell. That's a start. Now, this 6 island can't extend anywhere else because it would crash into another island. Now we have water that has to get out in column 1. And another cell of water that has to get out. Now we have another island that is expanded to 2 cells, at least. We can avoid a 2 by 2 in the water by putting an island cell in there. And now we have a 2-cell island, so we know we can write a 2 there, and a 3-cell island, so we write a 3 there. To make up the total of the 2-cell island, we put a 4. To make up the total of the 3-cell island, we put in 1, 5, because we can't put in 2, 4. And we've started. Now, this 25 island, how big can a 25 island be? It's got to be at least 4 cells big, because 3 cells can only add up to 24, 3 different Sudoku digits. It could be 4 cells big with a 4 in it. It could be 5 cells big. It could be 6, but it can't be 7. If you had 7 cells, the minimum total is 28. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. Oh, this blue keeps having to get out down to there. So this is a 5 or a 6. That was where I was getting to before I got distracted by the ocean lapping at my islands. Now, I was going to start saying that this couldn't be a 25 island because it can't get past this island to have 4 cells in, and therefore it was a 6 or a 9 island. And that would be true if it wasn't for the evil possibility that this could be Treasury Island. That stuff about how Treasury Island might have repeats in it and might be any size, that could all be a bluff. And Treasury Island might be a 2-cell island that adds up to 10. So I don't know that this, well, okay, since we can't go past 3 cells, this island does add up to 6, 9 or 10. But that is not useful anymore, because where it was useful was where we knew that we could either add 2 or 3 cells up to 6 or 9. In fact, we can't put a 3 in there by Sudoku. Okay, I think we know that this is a 2-cell island now. Because if it's a regular island, the only digit we can put in this cell is a 2. And if it's not a regular island, it's Treasury Island, and that's formed of dominoes, and we can't take this cell in because it couldn't make a domino. So that is C. There we go. Figured something out in a complicated manner that probably didn't need to be that complicated. Now, the trouble is, with all of these unmarked islands, any one of them could be Treasury Island, and I have a feeling that apart from this one, it's not going to be very easy to determine the size at all. Maybe what we need to be thinking about in this puzzle, and I'm not at all sure. Oh, first of all, having worked out finally in this box that we can't put 1 in a 6, 9 or 25 island, I'm going to put 2 or 3 there. I mean, you obviously can't have more than 3 cells adding up to 6. Here, we're not having a 3, we're having 4, 5 or 6. That's what we've worked out is a 25 island start point. Oh, yes, what I was going to talk about was how we avoid this being a 2 by 2, this area of the grid here, a 2 by 2 of water. And it's difficult. It is definitely difficult. One way is to have this be a 3-cell island. That would be a 3. This would be a 2-1 pair adding up to the 6. And you would hit this cell with purple. But otherwise, if that island doesn't reach this 2 by 2, because either it's a 2-cell island or it's a 3-cell island goes somewhere else, which island could hit this? This 25 can't, because it's a maximum of 6 cells. And I guess that's the furthest it could get. Actually, that's quite interesting, because maybe it's not just this 2 by 2. Maybe it's this whole region. Now, I'm going to show you a concept that I've been considering, which is, if this is a 25 island, it could extend all the way down to there. Yeah, look, this is the... How are we going to get this area, this green area, to not have any 2 by 2 of water in it? And I'm thinking of the hypothesis that Treasury Island is going to have to get into it, which is quite interesting, even if it doesn't give us anything we can shade. But how could it not get into that? And the only way I can see this can't reach that area with a 6-cell cage. So the only way Treasury Island doesn't get here is if normal islands can get here. None of them can be bigger than 6, as we've seen, as a length, as a sort of acreage or whatever it is. So this one can't get to that 2 by 4 area. This one can, just there. This one can get into it just there. And indeed, this would leave a plausible and joined up water area here. However, let's have a think about what digits would go in here. We'd be putting a 6 here, and these would add up to 19. In fact, the whole cage would add up to 25. These 3 cells would be meant to add up to 20. I'm sure you know the secret, that every row, box, and of course column adds up to 45. But you know it now if you didn't before. These 3 cells would have to add up to 20, but in this world, this one is a 1 or a 2 because that's a 3 island adding up to 6. And you can't get to 20. In fact, it's 1 short. This idea is definitely on the path here because it's exactly 1 short of being possible. If you put 9, 8 in there and a 2 there, you've got 19 plus the 25 is 44. You're 1 short. It can't work that way. Now, what that is telling me is that to cover both this 2 by 2 and this 2 by 2, and I'm going to make them different colours now, we've got to interrupt those with islands. Oh, in fact, let's just look at orange. This 2 by 2 could be interrupted by the 6 island coming in there. This can't reach there because 6 cells would take in that, you know, you'd hit that island. You have to go that way. That's why I said this was the furthest we could get from that island. This one can't get there either. That's 6 cells. Any way you do it, it never quite gets to there. This one can't possibly get that far with 6 cells. This one can only do it. But okay, I have to just be a bit careful because if this did break up orange, this wouldn't have to break up green. But something would have to break up green. So that could break up orange. And in fact, no other Treasury Island starting point. I'm now hypothesizing. No. No. Okay, I was wondering if I could say that this has to be the Treasury Island, as it were. That's not necessarily true. This could just be do its own thing up. Well, not that, but something like that. And then this could come in and be a big old Treasury Island thing. This one can't get out, by the way. I have noticed that finally. It can only get to those cells. It can't escape through any of these cells without hitting another island. This one can't get out clearly. This one, though, oh no, it's got a number in it. So one of these two is or that one. I mustn't rule that out. No, we can rule that out now. Yes, we can rule that out as Treasury Island because one of these two has to be Treasury Island and come into one of these regions. And I think it definitely has to include the orange region. That's going to be broken up by Treasury Island. It's a very interesting concept, this puzzle, but I'm really struggling a bit with how to cope. Oh, goodness. Oh, here's a thought. I'm thinking about this cell. I'm thinking if that was blue, we've got all sorts of problems about getting this out but avoiding 2 by 2s. If that's blue, then to avoid a 2 by 2, that's pink, but this blue still has to get out, and now this island can't get out without hitting that one. Therefore, this is not blue. This is island, lavender, purple, pink. This blue still has to get out through there. This has to be at least 2 cells. We've worked that out. If it goes that way, this blue has to get out. If it goes this way, this blue has to get out. Oh, there's constraints all over this puzzle that I wasn't appreciating. Oh, one thing I was appreciating, we've worked out that Treasury Island has to get into the orange from either there or there. One of those is Treasury Island. This isn't. This is a 2-cell island, and I can write 2 in. It adds up to either 6 or 9, and that digit is 4 or 7. This one is not Treasury Island. This one is... well, it doesn't have a 2 or a 3 in its cage. And therefore it's a 25 cage. A 6 or a 9 cage would have to have a 2 or a 3 in. This is a 29 cage. I'm not going to allow it to be 6 cells because that would fill up the whole space and crash into this island. So this is a 25 cage of 4 or 5 cells. It's got to take this cell. If this was water, it would get cut off by this cage. It's got to take this cell, because if that was water, well, this cage couldn't even achieve its 4. Right, this can't be blue. I think this is right. If this was blue, look what happens. This needs to be at least 4 cells big, so it would take that as purple. This needs to then divide these 2 islands and we end up with a blue 2 by 2. Excellent. So that's not blue, that's purple. We've got at least 4 cells there. This is blue to divide the islands. And this one, well, this depends on whether this is a 5-cell island or a 4-cell island. And it's really important, because if that's purple, then this blue has to get out and this blue has to get out. But if that's blue, then we can do all sorts of things, including making this purple. So if this is 25 in 4 cells, these add up to 21. Not using 4, so they'd be either 975 or 876. Oh, no, they've got to have a 2 in. Look at that, that's Sudoku, my friend. That is Sudoku, there's a 2 in there. This can't be a 4-cell island anymore, because there'd be a 4 and a 2 in it, and then 2 digits that would have to add up to 19. That's brilliant, that's exactly what I wanted to find. This is a 5-cell island, that digit is a 5, this digit is a 6 by Sudoku. This digit is blue to get the water out, and so is this one. Now this 6 has to expand here. This has to be at least a 2-cell cage, and now it's run out of room. It is a 2-cell cage. It's not, I was going to call it Fantasy Island, but it's Treasury Island. So this is a genuine 2 in this cell. This is a 3. This digit is 4 or 7 because the cage adds up to 6 or 9. Wow, this is a complicated puzzle. Right, these add up to 25, plus 6 is 31. These digits add up to 14 because I've subtracted from 45. 14. They don't have a 2 in. Three, 4, 7, or else they have a 1. Oh, bother, I don't know. Okay, I thought I was really moving along nicely there, and it's kind of juddered to a halt. A halt. Oh, that's blue to get out. I'm going to have to remove these green and orange. But let's not forget that Treasury Island has to get into this bit of the grid. We know that. And it may extend well beyond it. And it's not this thing. Actually, where's this going to expand? It can't go into that cell. It must come into this cell. Because if it doesn't go into that, it has to get out. And if it does go into that, it still needs to go into this. This one's definitely... No, I was going to say this is definitely blue, but it could be purple. Still. Now, this island has to grow. If it grows blue there, if it grows purple here, this is blue to get out, and that's blue, and that won't work. Right, I'll show you why. If this island grew downwards, this blue area would have to get out, and now this purple island can't grow to its size of 6. So that purple does not grow. In fact, that's not purple, that's blue. This is purple to avoid a 2 by 2. This is blue to get the blue out. This is purple because this has to be at least 2 cells. By the way, this is... Oh no, I was going to say we can't put a 2 in here, but this is one of the 2 candidates for Treasury Island. So it might not need a number that reflects its size at all. Oh, this blue has to get out though. Now this island is getting quite limited. Oh no, it's not. It can still get out here. No, it can't. It would shut in blue. This can't be a purple cell. Or we would shut in blue in some form up here. That is blue. And one of these 2 is blue. This has to be 4 cells big. There we go. It is confined. It is complete. It is finished. That's a 4. This one, I am strongly suspect. Well, I don't know. Will it grow? It could be Treasury Island. I don't know. That 4 is looking down the grid at that cell. That's 7 in a 9 island. This has to grow, and it cannot grow through that cell. And yet it's got to be 6. It's got to come through there. And this is blue to cut them off. That one from that one. This must grow. This is a 1 or a 2. This blue has to get out. There. This is purple. We've got 5. This blue is getting out. This purple is completing. Now we can seal it off with sea, ocean, whatever. This is now growing to that spot that I'm not going to say I predicted it early on, but all of these blues have to get out now to there. This is purple to avoid a 2 by 2. And this is in that orange area. This is part of Fantasy Island, Treasury Island. I'm doing it constantly now. This blue has to get out. This has to grow because it's got to reach one of the dotted line cells. So it's growing up the side. Wow, I mean, this is fun, actually. Good old Sudoku fan 87. But what do we actually do next? And is it time for Sudoku? Or is it time for more Nurikabe? Is there a way of working out which of these is Treasury Island? Well, yes, there is. There is a very simple way. If this was Treasury Island, it would have to join up with this, and it would cut off some ocean up here that could never join on. So this is not Treasury Island. This is a genuine 6, 9 or 25 cage with a genuine digit here that reflects how big it is. And since this has to join up with that, the maximum size of this is 5. So that digit is 3, 4 or 5. Now, so we're growing to at least 3. That blue has to get out. I think all of this has to be purple and part of Treasury Island, because otherwise some of it would be blue and would get cut off. Now, how many cells have we got? Because it's got to be an even number in Treasury Island because it's made up of dominoes. We've got 7 cells. We're going to need 1 or 3 more. The blue has to join up through one of these 2. If that's a 3, this is a 1-5 pair. It can't be 5 anymore because it will crash into Treasury Island. It's 3 or 4. Right, this island has to add up to 25. Now, I never did the maths on what combinations were possible, but I think it's got to have a 2 in it, hasn't it? I don't know how to work it out now, sorry. If it didn't have a 2, 6, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7 adds up to 26. That's too much. So this cage, this island, does have a 1 and a 2 in it. The 2 is in one of those cells. I know I'm marking across boxes and risking confusion. There must be a 1 as well. There must be some other low digits too. Maybe this can't be 315. Or maybe it has to be. I just don't know. These can't both be blue. So one of them either completes Treasury Island or these three all complete Treasury Island. Oh, I don't know. By Sudoku, there's a 5 in one of those cells. Oh, we know where 2 is in this box because we've got a 1-2 pair there. So 2 is placed. These add up to 18. Oh, they don't have a 1 in. Look at that. So there is a 1 in this group, which added up to, what was it? 25, 31, 14. They include a 1 in one of those cells. So the other two are 13, and they're not 6, 7, or 5, 8. They're 4, 9. So this is a 4, 1, 9 in the blue in this box. We can write them all in. Brilliant. So I can put a 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spot. Light losing its religion. Now, that 4 has made this a 7. That kicks back. And I've finished a box in this crazy, crazy puzzle. There's a 3 in one of those cells. That is 7 or 8 at the top. The 1 in column 2 has to be there. This is a 6, 9 pair. Nice. That's a 7 or an 8. No, it's not. It's definitely an 8. That's a 7, and this triple are now 3, 5, 8. And this group are 4, 6, 9. And we've made progress. We've nearly coloured the whole grid. We've found Treasury Island. We've started putting numbers in. Oh, this thing needed a 1 in it. We know where that goes now. Now, what are these other cells then? They add up to 18. Oh, 2, 3, 4, 9's still possible. There's probably quite a lot of combinations that could be. Now, what about this? We had nothing that I've done here has determined island shapes. Oh, these 3 add up to 21, and they're not 4, 8, 9. So they're either 5, 7, 9 or 6, 7, 8. They've got a 7 in. I know where that 7 goes. Look at these 2 7s, looking at those 2 cells. I'm putting a 7 in there, and these 2 add up to 14. And the 2 and the 1 in this box are there, because look at that 1, 2 pair. Now, that cannot be a 3, or you couldn't put 3 into this box. So that is a 4, and now we know its island size. We can cut off the island. We need to join up the ocean and avoid a 2 by 2, and we've ended up with an even size Treasury Island. That's just what we wanted. We can't write an 8 into the dotted cell because that rule does not apply. However, this one now does not add up to 9. This is a 25 cage. And these digits, I mean, I guess just as up here, it's the same deal. They have to have a 7 in and a pair that add up to 14. I know the 7's there from these 7's, and I can even place 7, in an exciting place in box 5. Now, these add up to 14. These 3 add up to 11, not including a 1. They're either 2, 4, 5 or 2, 3, 6. How come I don't know which it is? I don't. That's really annoying. If it was 2, 4, 5, the 4 would have to be here. And that can't be a 3 by Sudoku. Now, what's going on up here? There's a 3 in one of these cells, in one of those 2 cells, given this 3, and the other 2 add up to 14. They are either 5, 9 or 6, 8, and these 2 add up to 14 as well, with the 5 or 6 down here and the 9 or 8 here. So the 9, 8 form a virtual pair in box 5. There's a 1 in one of these cells by Sudoku. Oh, I haven't started thinking about the X pairs, the pairs that add to 10 in the Treasury Island cage. These 2 don't have a 7 or a 1 in now. So they're even. They're either, well, If they're 2, 8, they're that way round because we've got 2 in one of these cells. If they're 4, 6, they could be either way round. Now, that's not 4. There is a bit of Sudoku tidying up. Maybe to do. No, maybe not much. Should I be able to work out something from all the instances of 5, 6, 8, 9 appearing in columns 5 and 6? Oh, I tell you what I can do. I'll place 4 in box 8. There it is. And then in row 8. And now that's a 5 or a 6. And this is an 8, 9 pair. And that's a 3, 5, 7 triple. This is a 6, 8, 9 triple. Oh, I feel it's all hinging on these islands and how they add up. Well, maybe it's time for Treasury Island to come to the party. Yes. Oh no, I was going to be very casual and say we've clearly got 3 X pairs. Actually, let me just put them in with the pen tool. What I was going to do in my naughtiness is say there's one X domino adding up to 10. There's another one. And those 2 are correct. I was then going to add a third one there. But that might not be one because we could make up with 2 dominoes laterally at the top. But this can't be a 4, 6 pair. It can't be a 2, 8 pair either because of 2 and 8 looking at that cell. So this one's an odd pair with either 7 above 3 or 9 above 1. Oh, so this can't be a 4, 6 pair because of that. That's the easiest one to work out. Instead, I worked out it couldn't be 7, 3 or 1, 9. So it is 2, 8, and we know how they go. Now, 2 means that can't be 2. That means one of these is 2, which at least makes my pencil mark strong now. That can't be an 8. This pair is still 9, 1 or 7, 3. This pair is odd as well because I know it's not a pair. It's not necessarily an X pair. Mark, catch on to yourself, will you? There's a 4 in one of those cells by Sudoku. That's not a 7. This is not 8. Come on, can we get this finished now? 4, 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. It's all about Treasury Island. 6 or 9 are an effective pair here because one of them is in this pair which add up to 14 and the other one's there. That is true. 2, 4, 7, 6, 9. This is 1, 3 or 5 in the row. I say that with some authority as though it might help. I have no idea how it helps. That 3 or 5, the other of 3 or 5 is in this group that add up to 11. So this is 4, 6 or 9. Oh, I don't know how to finish this off. This is so, okay. Let's work on the fact that these 2 add up to 20, these 2 dominoes add up to 20. They don't include a 7 at all because they can't. Now, what else? If they had a 2, 8 pair, they'd have to be sitting here and here. There must be some Sudoku that will do something. Well, if that's a 4, then one of these is a 6. Oh, it all depends what this is. Maybe this is doable. Let's retry this row. There's a 7 in one of those 2 cells, definitely. Oh, here's a nice question. Where's the 5 in this column? It is not in Treasury Island anywhere because it doesn't matter whether you do laterally or vertically. You can't put a 5 in a domino with another 5. So this is the 5 in the final column. Now, this is 6 or 9. That feels interesting. One of these is an odd pair because we've still got at least one odd digit to write into these cells. That odd pair that occupies this area cannot be 7, 3 because of the 7s. Now, am I right in this conclusion? I'm saying there must be an odd pair. Yeah, it is right. If you put a 4 in, one of these would be a 6, and this digit couldn't be 2, 4, 6, or 8, would have to be odd. If you didn't put a 4 in, then the only even pair you could put in here would be a 2, 8 there, and these would be odd. So there is an odd pair here. It's not 7, 3, it is 1, 9. That's such a weird way of deducing how to do Treasury Island. 1 and 9 appear there, and now this is a 7, because we can't have a second 9 in the box. That's a 3. This is where 1 goes. That's not a 7. Now, the 1 can't be in those cells. The 1 is in one of these cells. I don't know what that means about where the 9 is. I'm looking at this row instead. That can't be a 3. Oh, it didn't do anything. That can't be a 3. Does that do anything? No. Don't tell me I've still got to do some thinking. There's a 1 in one of these cells and a 9 in this box. But there is an even pair in the box because we can't put 7, 3 in this 2 by 2. It's probably 2, 8 in those cells because we were allowed to repeat digits in the box, and it would be a really cunning blind if it didn't repeat any. But it could be 4, 6. I just don't know. Oh, okay, let's do Sudoku. Sorry, that 1 sees this digit. That's a 2. Now I can write the 2 into box 3 there. And now, there we go. That was it. Those 2's kept 2 out of this area. And the even pair here is a 4, 6 pair. The 4 must go there by Sudoku. The 6 goes in one of these cells. I still don't know which. This is a 1 or a 9. This group of cells is 1, 4, 6, 9. And the other ones in the box are 8, which goes here, and a 3, 5 pair. And that 3, 5 forms a 3, 5 pair here. 2, 8, 7, 3, 5. That can't be 8. This is 4, 6, or 9. It's not 5. This is 5 in box 8. That sorts out that 3, 5 pair. This is 3, that's 7. It's coming together, I think. I'm not sure, but I think so. This row, we need a 6 or a 9 here. Whatever that is, it's not a 3. So I've placed the 3. This can't be 8. Oh yeah, we still don't know what these pairs are. Or, oh goodness, it doesn't actually just fall out, does it? 7, 1, 3, 4, 2. Oh, we can't repeat a 6 in this blooming cage. Oh, I know you've been shouting for ages. I just didn't hear you. 4 there, right. 2, 5 pair here. So that's not 5, 9. That's 6, 8. This is going to do everything, and it was staring me in the face. Oh, there we go. That's what happens when you seek Treasury Island. You get thrown off course by high winds. 6, 9, 6, 4, but it's going to work now. 1, 3, 1, 2, 5, 2. Can't do the 5, 6 yet. This pair can't have an 8 in because we've had 8s there and there. So this is a 5, 9 pair, and we know the order. Good. Now I'm going to get back to you in a moment, Treasury Island. And we're going to figure out what your last few pairs are doing. 8, 9, 6, 5, 8, 6. And this 6, 8, 9, yes, that can all be done. Right, where does this, oh, I can do 1, 5 in that corner. All those other islands done. Where does the 6 go? It goes here. Now I can put my little X's in there and there. And look at that. Sudoku fan 87 completely foxed me. There wasn't a repeat digit in this island. Even though it was allowed, it didn't actually happen. And all of the possible X pairs were represented. And there we go. That is the solution. What a fabulous puzzle. So tricky. and yet so clever once you got into it. So sorry about not repeating a 6 in that cage for a ridiculous length of time. That was really easy. I should just have thought about the combos here a little harder. Anyway, that is the solution, and good fun it was too. Thank you as always for watching. Happy 9th of the 6th, 2025 to Rika and Sudoku Fan 87, and we will see you again soon on the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.